we are we are going to do
Good
regarding the
evening, Miss.
promotional strategy. Yes. So we'll start off with the first slide. The first slide, please. Next slide. Okay. Today we will be learning the very basic promotional strategies. So promotion. What do you think about promotion? You all know a basic idea regarding promotion, right? So we learned 4 P's. So in the 4 P's, promotion is one of the major activity which is undertaken by the marketing manager through the marketing mix tool. So today we are going to learn what is a pull and a push strategy. So promotion is an important part of any marketing strategy. There are three basic types of promotional strategy. Sorry, that should be two. So it's a push strategy and the pull strategy. In general, a push strategy is sales oriented, a pull strategy is marketing oriented, and push pull strategy is a combination of the two. Okay, now when we are selecting the strategies, now for example, last class we learned regarding the product. For the product, what are the strategies we are using in order to take that product to the particular market and give the brand awareness. So the brand awareness is coming through the promotional activities of a product. So these promotional activities is used by some given strategies, so that we call as push and the pull strategy. So when we take about the push strategy, so when you like hear the word push, what you know about it, that you make an effort to move something from a place to forward. So that is push. And pull is what you take an effort to make something to come near you. That is pull. Okay. So they say in general, push strategy is sales oriented. So what do you mean by sales oriented and marketing oriented? Anyone have an idea regarding sales and marketing oriented? So basically, sales oriented is somewhat you always think the sale of the product, and marketing oriented, which means like you entirely focus on the product. For example, like in a sales oriented, what you do, you go behind the customers and ask them to buy the product in any ways. Maybe it is a TV advertisement or something. You always force the customer to buy the product as you want to increase the sales volume. But what a pull strategy means is you make the customer to come to your product or service and to use them. For example, have you like heard about Bugatti cars? So those car manufacturers, that they don't use a push strategy. So push strategy is where you try to make a goodwill about your company, good image branding regarding your company, and you go behind the company and ask the customers to buy. So but a pull strategy is something that customers, now iPhone is using a pull strategy. That means by enhancing their features and upgrading their features, they are, what they are doing, they are making a pull strategy. They are making the customers to buy the product. For example, you might have heard like when they are launching a new product of iPhone, so they will be in queues from late night to till the product is being launched, and they wait in queues and they spend a lot and they buy. So all this, what Mac is doing is they are making a pull strategy which can make a customer to purchase their product. So in detail I will be explaining what is a pull and a push strategy. So Dylan, move to the next slide. Okay, so as I basically introduced what is a pull and push strategy, I hope you would have a basic understanding. So what is a push strategy? A push promotional strategy works to create customer demand for your product or service through promotion. So what they are saying, a push strategy you are creating the demand of the customer. That means the customer know, like, he don't need the product, but you're creating a image like you want this product. You have seen in the market there are many lots of plenty of products, but all the products is not essential for us. What are the basic essentials? Apart from that, we have several of millions of products in this world existing. But why we tend to purchase all those products is because the company or the business is showing that this is an essential product for you. Like, there are lots of products which is a want, not a need. So all these days we are like surviving with our basic needs. Now we are like having our food and we don't have much option, so we eat what is cooked at home, and we don't like order stuffs and like that. So what we are doing these days, like, we are living to our essential. But before the curfew, just imagine, were we like this? No, we had lots of entertaining, and we had lots of places to go, lots of places to shop. So we do shopping and stuff. So all the products we see within a market is creating a customer demand. So what the company is basically doing, through advertising or through temptation, they are making to use the given product. Okay. So a push promotional strategy involves taking the product directly to the customer through whatever means, ensuring the customer is aware of your brand at the point of purchase, taking the product to the customer. So, in a push strategy, what you do is you take the product to a customer. That means the customer won't be interested on that particular product, or he might have not an awareness. You go near the customer and tell the information. That may be any strategy, like you can use a digital marketing strategy, or you can use like one-to-one marketing means what? Directly you communicate with the customer, or direct, that's direct marketing. So like that, you like, can you all remember, like, at when we are at home, some sales representatives, they used to come home and explain this is the product and what are the uses. So what are they doing? They are pushing yourself to buy the product. So that is what push strategies mean. Even you don't have the willingness, they create an urge within you, they create the demand for the product and make you to buy the product. So most of the organizations use the push strategy, because at the very basic level you can only do the push strategy, because to do the pull strategy it takes time, and your brand awareness and positioning should be there within other competitors, then only you can adapt to a pull strategy. So the next point, it says, push marketing is defined as a promotional strategy in which a business attempts to get their message in front of their potential customers without them having a desire or interest to buy the product or learn more about it. Yeah, as I explained, this point is also saying the same thing. So, what it says, business attempts to get their message in front of their potential customers without them having a desire. That means the customer won't have the desire, but in front of the customer. Now if you, okay, now if you visit Kiehl's supermarket or Food City, now if they are launching a new product, now while you're purchasing, they might come and say, ma'am, just fill this questionnaire and which products you are using. They'll get information. After that, they will try to say about the new product launch. They will say, ma'am, in this brand itself you have got some additional features, so we have added into it, and this is our new product. So what they are doing, even we don't need that product, they are making the desire by showing the product, maybe by the look, maybe by the features, or maybe by the quality. We are attractive to purchase that particular product. So these are small strategies. Now when you go for some places, like in a supermarket, if you just go and purchase, they will make some food and give you, and they will ask, ma'am, just taste it. So why they are doing is that they wanted to product They wanted to promote that particular product, and they wanted to also do a market research whether the customer is willing to buy the particular product or not. After that, so what are the examples of a push strategy a business can do? So we'll see what are the examples. So they can give discounts to retailers, and they can do trade promotion, uh, applicating package design, and maintaining a reputation for reliability. Value or style are also used in push strategy. So basically, in a push strategy, what you do, you give discounts, you give offers, like you change the packaging style, you like talk about the reputation of the product, and you give more information of the product. This is more and more you add like value to the product. Now let's say if I'm not aware of a certain product, you show what is the value of the product and how it is being used. If you purchase that product, how satisfaction you will be gaining, all the things will be added up in the push strategy. So if you all have any doubts regarding the push strategy, you can ask me now. I'm going to move to the next slide. Dylan, unmute all the users. So if they have any questions regarding or doubts, they can ask.
Okay, ma'am.
No doubts? Okay, then move to the next slide.
No, miss.
Okay. No, where is the pull strategy? Okay. So as you all know, push strategy is something the business is enforcing the customers to purchase the product. Now we are going to learn the pull strategy. A pull promotional strategy uses advertising to build up customer demand for the product or service. Pull strategy is a technique used to bring the customer to you. Pull tactics include advertising, mass media promotion, word of mouth referrals, sales promotion and discounts, and customer relationship management. So now what they are saying here is, in a pull strategy, now while we are watching movies and teledramas or something, number of several advertisements will be going. So why do you think they are posting the advertisement on a television between a movie or a teledrama? Is because like when you are seeing something than hearing, your visual makes more and more impression on your mind than word of mouth. So then rather than hearing something, when you are seeing something visually, you get that thing absorbed very soon. So even when you are like, you're not interestedly seeing the particular advertisement, the way of the advertisement presented will be in a eye catching way and in an attractive way. So what they are conveying is, they never tell in any advertisements you just see, they will never say come and buy this product, this product is useful, this product is essential for this type. They will not never directly tell in any advertisement the uses of the product, or they won't say to purchase, they won't directly say. But indirectly what they will say is, if you are having this particular product, you can live like this, it will be useful for your lifestyle. Maybe any product, even like you take a Sprite advertisement, or a Fair or Fair and Lovely cream or cosmetic advertisement, or a bike advertisement, they will be showing, if you are using this product, you can enhance your lifestyle like this, you can be like this, you can be fair. If you buy a bike, you will be like you will feel prestigious. If you use this particular shampoo, you will have long hair and you will have thick hair, and like that they will be showing a picture of something, might be very imaginative, but they will be showing that. So even though you don't look at it in a concentrated way, now when you're going to a supermarket, now when you're going to purchase, let's say, for example, in shampoo there are several of brands, let's say 20 brands are there. Quickly when you see the brand, in your mind what you have visually show is registered within yourself. Quickly you leave other products and take the product which you saw in the advertisement. That is why that brought an impression to you without your consent. Even without your consent, that product, that physical features, the color and the brand name has gone within you. So what you do is you pick up that product and you think, okay, let's try this product. So this is what a pull strategy is. What they are doing, without your concern itself, they are making you to purchase that product. They are not saying to like buy the product. In a way they are showing and making to buy their products. Okay, so for example, it says advertising children's toy on children's television shows a pull strategy. The children ask their parents for toys, the parents ask the retailers, and retailers, they order the toys from the manufacturer. Okay, now if your child, for example, they are saying a child is seeing a cartoon channel or something, the child is more sensitive to the visual things. So when it sees a toy or something, when it goes with the mother or father, it will be asking, no, I want this toy itself. So what the parents do, anyhow they do buy for their children. So this is sort of a business for the manufacturer and for that company. Through visual aid, they are using the children to enforce to buy that product. Now the children, can a child go and buy the product? Does the child have money or sense to buy a product? No. But what the child is doing, it is making sure it forces their parents by crying or stuff, and they will get the product. So at the end of the day, the advertisement is indirectly enforcing the parents as a pull strategy to purchase the particular product. After that, it includes pull strategies include sales promotions, offering discounts, 2 for 1 offers, and building demand through social media sites such as YouTube. Okay, now they are saying like, can you remember like when you go to supermarkets and stuff, if something is going to be expired or something, and they want to finish those products off, what they do is like, they will tell buy two get one free or buy one get two free. So instantly what we think in our minds, this is free, no, so we won't be looking at the date or something. Okay, this is free, no, so we'll buy. So we are saving some money. So these are the things. What now will the sales representative will come and say, ma'am, like, no, this is going to get expired, so if you take two, I will give one free? No, they won't be saying. If you like, you purchase. But they will be like, if you go to Food City and stuff, they will be cutting the vegetables and fruits, and they will keep in a nice packet and they will sell it out. Actually what they are doing is, now when they are having fruits, some of the fruit parts would be get damaged, so the customers won't purchase it. So what they will be doing is, they will omit all the dirty unclean parts, and the fresh parts they will be taking, and they will pack it very nicely and keep. So what the people will think, it's very easy to use, so it's already chopped and it's already cut, so it's we can use it when we are cooking, so people used to buy that. So do they come and say, no, the waste products only, like we have changed, took the fresh products? No. But to the market, how they are pretending and showing, we are making easy for your work. That means for your cooking or for whatever, to make a salad or something, you don't need to cut vegetables and waste your time, we are here to help you out. So what they are showing, they are showing a pull strategy. They are making your situation and making you to buy the particular product. Okay. And other, it says, through social media. As you all know, social media is vitally used in promotional activities, like they do marketing stuff and all the promotional activities. Now those days only the media we had only was through television and through radio channels. Now it's not like that. Now if you go to Facebook, if you go to YouTube or something, even you watch a video, the advertisement will be playing. And if you go to Facebook, you will get a pop-up message saying that and this. And these are the many ways how you can make your customers to purchase your particular product. So next slide. So as I told you, push strategy, you have to remember, you create a demand for the customer and make sure you are enforcing the customer to buy the product. In a pull strategy, what you do, you make the customer to he or she himself buy the product. So next we will be moving to the niche market. So what is a niche market? So this is not that difficult. So I'll be explaining what's a niche market. So niche market is something, a subset of market on which a specific product is focused. So niche market is something, so this word niche always comes to your, as business studies students, you have to know this, like in marketing or business strategy or business environment, always they will be questioning what is a niche market. So what do you call my niche? Niche is something which is a subset of a main specific product or service. For example, if you take okay, we'll take textiles. So if you take clothing industry, so clothes are starting from kids to elder people, right? So niche market is where a business focuses on a particular industry, which is a particular subset of that particular uh, product or service. Now if you take clothing, now what is a niche market within a clothing? As I am a business person, now I am going to decide that I am going to start a cloth manufacturing company or textile company. So when I am designing what business I am going to do, so within that huge big market, I decide I'm going to sell clothes for kids. Or I think, okay, now if you take clothing itself, you know, very fat people, that means very obese people, find it difficult, very difficult to purchase dress in normal shops because they won't have the size and stuff. So what can I think about? Okay, these kind of people are there. The people who are obese, they will find it very uneasy to go to the other shop and buy the products. Now they will ask for size, they will say, no ma'am, we don't have this size, your size is not there. So they will be feeling embarrassed. So in order to avoid that embarrassment, so as a business person, I think, yeah, there is a demand for such people. So what can I do is I can make a shop which is which I sell products only for the obese people. That means all my sizes in the product, all the sizes will be in a large scale, large to XL or double XL or triple XL. It will be like that. So also fat people, obese people also like to dress up in a modern way. But I think, okay, I can call up a fashion designer and I can design many of the costumes, many of the clothing for the obese people, and I can sell it. So since only I am the market player, let's say for example, in Kolpiti, we'll take Kolpiti. There are Kolpiti to Bambalapiti. There are lots of textile shops. So what I'm doing is I'm planning to open a shop which is only for the obese people. What all the obese people will do? Only if my shop is very unique that they can purchase this product in my shop, they will be coming to my shop and buying all the stuff. So I don't target all the consumers. I don't target the children. I don't target the younger adults. I don't target the teenagers or slim people. Only my target is for the obese people. So where I am selecting a niche market that you called as a niche market, and you offer the special product to the market. So it says niche market does not mean a small market but involves specific target audience with a specialized offering. As I told you, now in the clothing sector, I only take the obese people. So in that, what, even though it is a small market, I target some audience. If I am selecting dresses for kids also, I will be doing only for the kids or only the kids products. So all the kids users and all the parents will be coming and purchasing all their baby stuff from the baby care. You know, right? There are many shops for baby care and stuff. So this is what a niche market is. So the market niche defines as a product features aimed at satisfying specific market needs, as well as price range, product quality, and demographic that is intended to the impact. Every product can be defined as the market niche. So as I told you, now I am marketing for the obese people. So in that, I understand the market needs. That means even obese people are existing within the market. So I have to make a product for them, and I can set up a high price range because I am only the major market player there. Now, like if I have more competitors, let's say in the Kolpiti Road itself, there is 10 shops like that. So I have to decide upon my price range because more of the competition, the customers will be getting splitted. If the customer is having only myself, that means as a business, they only have to come to me, I can set a price range to the higher range. And I also do consider about the product quality and demographics. What is demographics? The age category, in which age and which size of people you are going to sell the product to. Those are falling into the demographic category, which is a niche market. A niche market is a subset of a larger market with its own particular needs of preference, which may be different from a larger market. As I told you, clothing industry is a larger market. In that, I identify who needs what, and I take the preference of the obese people, and as a subset of the clothing industry, I do a business for obese people who are willing to wear fashionable clothes, right? Hope you all understood what is niche market. If you all have doubts, you can ask or just note it down after the class. You can just ask. I'll move to the next slide. Okay, now I told you what is niche market. Now I will be telling you what is niche marketing. Niche marketing is defined as channeling all marketing efforts towards one well-defined segment of population. So in a niche marketing, what I do, I only target the people or the population who I need to do the marketing. Now let's say I'm doing the clothing. So clothing means I don't need to refer to all the people, all the when I'm doing advertising, I can set my motto, I can set my vision, I can set my advertising in a way that is only reaching my potential customers. Who are my potential customers? The obese people. So I will be targeting that particular among the population. I will be selecting them as my niche market and do all the marketing and activities as required by themselves, right? Niche marketing is a marketing tactic deployed to target a specific market which is unique, as I told you. So this is something I select a unique set of market segment and I give my products to them. Niche marketing is target marketing plan that focuses on one particular section of the market that has high potential to connect it with product or service. So why do I not without offering all the products, why do I choose a niche market is because then it is more easy for me to identify the potential customers and I can identify what are the needs. So it will make sure that I have a proper business plan. So I should know like to whom I have to target, to whom I have to do the promotion, and what kind of product is expected out of me. All the things I will be having in my consciousness, like what I have to do regarding the business. If I am splitting my business all around, so there are many thoughts under me, and I find it difficult to identify the target customers and know how to advertise and how to get the product to reach and stuff. Having a niche market makes sure that you connect to the potential customers who are highly interested in purchasing that particular product, and you choose which industry you are going to take and which subset you are going to use. Later on, niche marketing is specifically effective for reaching consumers who can be targeted based on certain characteristics such as demographic, hobby, occupation, or commitment to social. Okay, now they are saying niche market you can categorize and you can decide on these particular categorize. So demographic, if you take demographic, what they take divided from the age and the population. Now they say for whom you are going to sell the products. Are you going to sell the products for kids? Are you going to sell the products for teenagers, young adults, or for the adults? Or are you going to categorize through age? So through demographic also you can segment it. So for example, okay, if I, okay, now if you take a service, now I was talking about the product. If you take a service industry, you take some services are there, take education or medical, or like doing beauty care or something. Some sections like if you take in hospitality, only a specific hospital will be there in providing services only for children. That means starting from 1 year or months to 12 years, only children will be going to that particular hospital. So whom they are targeting, only the children, to provide a service for their healthcare. And other thing, if you see, only for like pregnant ladies, they will be having a specific hospital to provide service only for the mothers. So they will segment their services. If you take the education industry, some institutions will be there, only they will be offering the MBA programs. They always target the like higher studies. They don't concentrate on HND or degree. They always go to post graduate studies, and they do concentrate. So this way you can segment your uh, target market, which is mean a niche market. And through hobby, hobbies also you can, like some people like gardening, some people like to have pets. So like some people sell pets like puppies and stuff, and some people used to sell birds, and some people used to sell flowers and stuff. And identifying the hobbies of the customers, they divide into segmentation. Also occupation. Now if you take a lawyer, if you take a doctor, if you take a teacher, they have different needs. Like if you take a doctor, they will be needing like the way they dress and their equipment, and what are the need for their social status and all. So they will be having a specific set of desires. Now a doctor might think, okay, in my house the interiors should be like this. So always they will be considering about the social status of them. And even if somebody is visiting their house, they always wish unique products should be there, unique style should be there. So most of them, they will be considering about their interior designs and stuff. So in that, what a doctor does, so in enhancing their like social status, they do have concern about making their lifestyle a better one. So like that, you can divide the niche marketing according to the following factors. And I hope you all understood. So I'll move to the next slide. If you all have any doubts, you can note it down and ask me after the class. Nishan, the next class. Sorry. Okay. So I have completed the niche market and niche marketing. Now I will be moving into branding. So I have set some, if you see these pictures, you can see some logos like Coca-Cola, IBM, Barbie, like that, Nivea. So when you all are seeing all this, like the WhatsApp logo is there, McDonald's logo is there, and you can see some logos, right? So I'll be explaining what is a branding. We always use the word called brand. I wish to buy branded products. So we'll see what do you mean by that brand. A brand is a name, term, design, symbol, or any feature that identifies one seller or good or service as a distinct from those of other sellers. So when it comes to branding, it says the process involved in creating a unique name, a image for a product in customers' mind, mainly through advertising campaigns with a consistent theme. Branding aims to establish a significant and differentiate presence in the market that attracts and retains loyal customers. So they are saying branding is something you impose or you create something within your customer's mind that we are the unique producers, maybe in quality, in its usage. You get a thought like, okay, now if you take soft drinks, always most of them prefer to have Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola is one of the most leading brands among the world. So Coca-Cola has set its brand image through its unique taste. So that taste of Coca-Cola, any other brands are not offering still now. So that they are being one of the market leaders, as Pepsi is in competition with Coca-Cola. So worldwide, they are a MNC, that means a multinational company. They have a strong symbol, they have a strong name, they have a strong design for their particular product. As that, if you take many of the products, if it is well reputed among the customers, it is considered as a very unique brand among the customers, which has a consistent theme within their business. That means when you buy a product, you can feel the difference. Now if you're most of your, if you are using branded products, you won't like to use the normal products, you know why, like you can feel the difference. Most of them have told, like the people who are using iPhone, they won't like to use the Android after they are used to the iPhone, because they will be getting familiar to that features, those applications, and the user friendliness, and they will be not adapting to the Android phone. So as such, now if you are in a, if you are used to purchase like branded stuffs, clothes or something, and if you just go and buy normal clothes, like if you wear it, you will feel it's not comfortable for you, and you won't feel unique, and you will like mentally you will be going down. So even when you're finding any food to eat or any drink, or starting from the toothpaste, starting from the dress you wear, so if you are used starting from the laptop or something, any gadgets like phone or something, when you are used to use some brand which is willingness by yourself, so your mind will be getting prepared to use only that product, you won't move to another product. So what this branding is doing is making an impose within your customer's mind that this, we are the best in the production, we are the best in the service, so you have to purchase us. By unconsciously we will be tending to purchase that product again and again, and at the end we become the loyal customers for that particular brand. Even anyone says you won't switch the brand, because after a long time you become loyal customers to that particular business. So any business which comes with a good market positioning, they can achieve branding through their uniqueness by improving the product quality, setting standard price, and bringing a good image on the customer's mind. They can create their brand name. All these companies, all these logos have created their brand name only by attracting their customers mindset. To attract the customers mindset, what you have to do, you have to keep on enhancing the product features, you have to keep on enhancing the delivery of your service quality. So when the customer is very satisfied with your product again and again, and you have to do market research to identify their upcoming needs, and you are catering to their needs day by day, they will be very loyal customers to you. So this is how you have a branding within your specific industry, right? I hope branding is clear. So branding is something which it comes from the name and the design or symbol from any other features which is identify a seller or manufacturer which is so unique among the other market competitors. Okay, so we'll move to the next slide. Okay, now we saw what is branding. Now we will be learning what is a direct marketing. So direct marketing is something, it's a form of advertising in which companies provide physical marketing materials to consumers to communicate information about a product or service. Direct marketing does not involve advertisement placed on the internet or television or radio. Direct marketing removes middleman from the promotion process as the company provides a direct message to the direct potential customer. Okay, now what is direct marketing? You don't have any intermediate people within yourself. That means you don't show a TV advertisement or you don't have a middle person. Now you identify your potential customers and you directly deal with them and you directly talk the value of your product. So mostly we can also say this as one-to-one marketing as well, like directly, like sales representative directly they come and show the products to us and talk about the products. And if we are going to buy a product in a shop or something, directly they will be providing discounts and explaining the product features and what are the uses of the product. Direct communication with the potential customer is known as direct marketing. So when you hear the word direct marketing, what have to strike your mind is without any interference of a third party in the middle, the producer and the customer is having a direct interaction. So in some of the online businesses, you will see the person who sells and the person who is buying will have a direct contact on how they are going to sell the product and how they are going to purchase the product. So no person will be in the middle. So any details regarding the product you have only have to ask the owner of the product. So this is what direct marketing is. So you market about your product directly in identifying the potential customers. So in when they are questioning in the online exam, they will be asking what direct marketing refers to. You have to remember direct marketing is something. It is a process or promotional activities between the producer and the potential customer, not a interference of a middle person. That is direct marketing. And next slide. Dilan, next slide, please. Okay, now this is what is fat. So I this is not related to any of the other topics because most of the online question it asks what is the meaning of fat. So many students don't know. So as an answer I have given this. So this normally comes to your online exams. So what is fat? A desirable trend characterized with lots of enthusiasm and energy over a short period of time. Fads are often seen with common custom items, especially around a holiday season. This is something you have, which is a character of, it doesn't have a long term period. It is sold within a short term period, like products which are sold for a short term period is called as a fad. Now for example, during a holiday season or something, they will be uh, like selling hats or something which is useful for your that season. So for example, if you are having a festival called okay, Hindus may have like Koil festivals and those things. So that time some common items they will be selling around the road and stuff. And if you are having during fasting days and all, if you see the road, they will be selling pearls, they will be selling food items, but only for that specific season. They will be only for a short period, they will have that business. After that they will shut down their business and they won't have a long lasting continuation. So always they are saying for special occasions the products which we are selling is called as a fat. So it says it has a desirable trend characteristics with lots of enthusiasm energy of a short period of time. That means the sellers who are selling the products with a short period of time is called as fat. Okay, so Dylan, is it all?
Yes, Miss. That.
uh, okay, students, now I have finished the promotion. So promotion part is over from your 4 piece. So I have finished product, I have finished product promotion today, and price is pending. So I think only price has got 3 slides. If you are okay, I can finish that price also without dragging to the next class. Shall I finish it off?
Okay.
Shall I
Miss,
finish?
same as yesterday. You have some question.
Yeah, after I finish this part, the price thing,
Uh-huh.
I will finish the price. After that, I will ask all. Students, are you all okay with?
Yeah.
Shall I continue the 3 slides regarding the price? Dylan, ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கு ஓகேன்னு கேளுங்க, பிகாஸ் 10 minutes இருக்கு. உங்களுக்கு ஓகேன்னா நான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றேன்.
Yeah,
Students.
Miss.
Yeah, okay, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Dylan, take the price. Okay, move to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, in price, in your online examination, always you will have a question what is meant by perceived value. So I will be explaining what is that perceived value. A customer's opinion of a product, a customer's opinion of a product's value to him or her, it may have a little or nothing to do with the product's market price and depends on the product's ability to satisfy his or her needs or requirements. So what you mean by perceived value? It's not the monetary value which the product is being placed in the market price. Now, for example, okay, you are buying a iPhone for 1 lakh. Let's say, for example, maybe it's 1 lakh as a monetary price, but within your opinion, you are ready to pay any amount for that because the satisfaction you get from that product is more than the value you pay. So that is meant as a perceived value. It may be okay. Now you may buy a packet of marshmallow for 40 rupees, but the satisfaction you are getting by eating marshmallow will be more than the 40 rupees. That means than the monetary value, the value which you give to that particular product is very high than the actual value. So perceived value is basically what the customer think as the value. That means according to your mindset, how much you are going to value that product depends on the perceived value. So the market price might be different, but the perceived value within yourself will be different because the satisfaction of the product which you get, sorry, the satisfaction which you get by using the product is much more valuable than the price you pay. So you are ready to pay any amount to get that particular product. So value in marketing, also known as customer perceived value, is the difference between potential customer evaluation and the benefit and the cost of one product when compared with others. Now, for example, I'm going to buy a certain product. So, for example, uh, okay, I'm going to buy a shampoo. So a normal shampoo costs 200 rupees and another shampoo which I prefer it's 900 rupees. So I don't mind paying the extra amount of money because using that shampoo gives me a satisfaction than the money which I spent on that product. So I won't be thinking, okay, this bottle of shampoo is 200, it's better to purchase this. So the satisfaction which I'm deriving from that particular product is more than the value I pay. I'm getting the satisfaction. So that is referred to as the perceived value. Always the customers should feel that the product is giving a satisfaction for their self than of the market value. That is called as the perceived value. So customers' perceived value translate to the price they are willing to pay for a good or service. Customers place value based on the product's analytically ability to fulfill the need, provide satisfaction. So here what the customer is valuing is than of the monetary terms, than of the price they are paying, they are always valuing the product for its usage and for the product quality and the product satisfaction which they are deriving from the use of the product, so which is referred as the perceived value. So next slide. So these are some of the pricing strategies you can do while you're making setting up a price. So what do you mean by pricing strategy? So there are four components. So one is penetration pricing. So what do you these are question in the online examinations, so do remember these types of pricing strategies. So penetration pricing, so here the organizations let low price to the increased sales and market share. Once market share has been captured, the firm may will then increase their price. So what is penetration pricing? Now you're starting up a business, right? So as I told you, I'll go to the niche market example. Now I am selling clothes to the obese people and I am selling the fashionable clothes. Even though I am the only market player and only one person who is selling out products for the obese people, at once if I increase my price range, customers won't come to my shop because they don't know how my product quality is and how my fashion is. So they don't know anything about my brand or my product or my business. So in the starting, to capture the customer, what I have to do is I have to start from penetration pricing. So penetration pricing is where you have a small profit margin within your product, like unit cost, the unit cost and the profit margin, there will be only a small difference. You won't have a high profit margin. So through penetration pricing, what you do is initially you start off with a low price and you increase it only when you understand you are capturing the market. Now for example, at once if I set the price high, I won't have customers. Maybe some customers might be willing to buy my products for a high price. Some won't like to buy. So that one to one marketing also will be failing there, because some people will go and say no, in that shop it's very expensive, so don't go there, don't visit there. Even the customer won't visit and identify what products I'm having, what I am selling. So starting, what I do, I start with the penetration pricing. So after I start with the hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So okay, penetration pricing is something where, like now if I start up a shop and if I'm starting with a high range, now I will lose my customers. So what I'm doing is starting with the very low price, profit margin. I'm setting a very low price, and day by day when I'm getting more customer base, when my more customer base is there, my market share will be increasing day by day. When my market share is increasing, my loyal customers will be increasing. At that point, when in the market position I am at the range of competing with other customers, at that point what I can do is I can be a price, I can set my price to a high range. So I believe that all my loyal customers will be coming to my business. And also if I increase the price to my quality of the product, since the people will be purchasing. So at a very startup, when you are starting a business, in the initial stage, it is better to go with the penetration pricing. So penetration pricing is something you have to remember. In order to increase the sales and capture the market share, you will be setting a very low price and catering the customers. That is penetration pricing. After that, it talks about skimming pricing. So skimming pricing means the organization sets an initial high price and then slowly lowers down the price, and to make the product available to a wider market, the objective is to skim profits of the market layer by layer. So skimming price means, I think most of you all would have experienced, if you go to a clothing shop, if you go and see a cloth and which you wish, at once they will say it is 24,000 or 25,000, and we will be very shocked. At that time they will say, no, no, I'll give you a discount, or it only just cost 12,000. So we will be thinking, oh my god, they have reduced such a big amount, so it's better to purchase. But actually the price of the product might be 8,000 or 5,000. They might have a profit margin and sell it to 12,000. So at once they go to a peak, then you are willing to buy that product, and you are disappointed that you can't purchase. And suddenly if they tell it for 12,000, suddenly you will buy, because you think that they are reducing the price. Actually they are not doing like, actually they are not doing that. So this is the skimming pricing technique. That means you set a high range of price and you show the customers like you are giving a big discount. So this is skimming pricing. So next one is competition pricing. So competition pricing is something setting a price in comparison to competitors. In reality, a firm has three options, and these are the price lower, price the same, uh, price the same, or price higher than the competitors. Now what you can do is, competition pricing means something. Now you know who is your market competitor. What you do is, in order to, there is no any big price difference between you and your competitor. So what you are doing is, you will reduce the price or you may increase the price. You can do one of the two. Sometimes even you increase the price, still the customers will be thinking, this product is a very good quality product, that's what they are charging a high price, and they will be purchasing. Sometimes, now let's say Coca-Cola and Pepsi, a bottle of Pepsi cost, for example, Coca-Cola 50 rupees, means if Pepsi is giving for 50 rupees, what Coca-Cola will do is, Coca-Cola will reduce the price to 49 rupees. So what they will think, okay, it's better to, even the people who are buying Pepsi will be going and buying Coca-Cola. So this is how the competition pricing. You see how much your competitor is charging. According to that competition, you set your price range. So another factor is the psychological pricing. The seller here will consider the psychological price and the positioning of the price with the marketplace. Psychological price is something, okay, if you go to this Bata shops and all this DSI, Bata, all the like footwears, they will always say 1999, 999, 599, 499. So why they are using that is, when you suddenly see the price, you think, it's 400, it's cheap. No, it's 1990, it's 5990, it's valuable. But you don't see the 1 rupee different there. If you say see a slipper for 6,000, it will be like a big huge money. But in the front, if you see 5,999, you will say, 5,000 or no, so it's okay to buy this. So that is psychological pricing. So suddenly when you see a price, if you see you will feel that is a cheap range for that product. But actually why they are making that 999 is they are leaving that 1 rupee is because of the psychological factor of the purchasing behavior of the customer, right? So next, Dylan. Dylan, next slide please.
Miss, that's it.
That's all. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Students, I have did the promotion and the
What happened?
pricing and pricing strategies. Now it is open up to you. You can ask any questions regarding if you all are having any doubts or something.
Miss, can you explain that fact? Oh,
Fad is something you have a business for a occasion, only for the occasion. It is not a long term business. It is a short term business for any operations or something. Like you sell balloons for a festival. கோயில் திருவிழாக்கு இப்போ பலூன் விற்கிறீங்கன்னா ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் கோயில் வாசல்ல பலூன் விற்க மாட்டீங்க தானே. கச்சான் விற்கிறீங்கன்னா விற்க மாட்டீங்க. So some ornaments they will be selling. Now if you see this St. Anthony's feast and all, now if church feast and all going, they will sell some sweets, they will sell garland, they will sell popcorns. Only for that particular incident they will be having that business. After that they will quit the business and go. That is not a long term business. Only for occasions they will be doing that business and leaving and going. That is that. Anything? Anything else? Dylan, பிள்ளைகளுக்கு எல்லாம் விளங்கிட்டுதாம்மா? யாரும் ஒன்றும் கேட்குறாங்க இல்ல?
ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் கேட்குறீங்களா? நீ நேற்று சொல்ல மாட்டேன் சொந்த எல்லாம் விளங்கி இருக்கணும்.
அதான் நேத்து சொன்ன கிறிஸ்டல் கிளியரா எல்லாம் விளங்கி இருக்கணும், இல்லாட்டி ஒன்றுமே விளங்காம இருக்கணும். இல்ல எது எந்த கேட்டகரி விளங்கல. So shall I ask questions? Dylan, is it okay? Ask the students. Is it okay if I ask questions?
okay.
நீங்க கேளுங்க நாங்க விட சொல்லுவாங்க.
Okay. Okay. Now tell me, what is a pull strategy?
Pull strategy is a market oriented where the organization will having a strategy, like indirectly they will aware the consumer to purchase the product.
Yeah, good. Marketing strategy which is used by the business to make the customer to buy. Yeah, good. Okay, pull strategy is okay. And another question shall I ask?
Okay.
Okay. What do you mean by a niche market?
It's a market for specific products.
It is a subset.
Market of a large market. Okay.
Subset of a large market. Okay. What do you mean by skimming pricing?
Initially setting a higher price and setting the price.
Okay. What do you mean by branding?
A image, name, or a logo in order to aware the consumer. It's a unique aspect from competitors.
Yeah, very good. What is penetration pricing?
Fixing a low profit for a product. Yes.
Okay, simple ஆ சொல்லணும்னா penetrating pricing னா என்னது?
Selling a product with a low profit.
Lower price range and a lower profit.
Oh, okay.
First, initially you have to remember starting price வந்து low-ஆ இருக்கும். சரியா?
Okay.
Okay, then what do you mean by perceived value? What is perceived value? Forgot.
Yes.
மறந்துட்டீங்களா? Perceived value ன்னா என்னது? The value which you give to a product for the satisfaction which you are getting from that product. Then the monetary terms, what the inner satisfaction you are getting, you give a value to that product is called as a perceived price. Okay, what is psychological pricing? What is psychological pricing?
A price based on the psychological factor, for example, 999 rupees.
Yeah. And what is the push strategy? What do you mean by push strategy?
Like it's a strategy where they use directly to push the customer to purchase their product.
Example, what can they do?
Provide lower discount, sampling.
Yeah, so you make them to buy your products. Yeah, so far so good. So I think you have concentrated the class very good, highly appreciated. So I will be ending up the session. So if you all have any doubts, you can ask, or we'll end the session. All are okay?
Yes. Miss, can you upload the slides in Moodle?
Yeah. Nishantan sir will be uploading the slides. Okay. Have a nice day or
Okay,
nice
Miss.
evening.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye.
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 Bye.